to issue summons for Mr. Davis Patel, whose whereabouts we don't know. He may be in custody somewhere. We don't know where he is at all. To be given opportunity to give evidence before this select committee. He will shed light on a number of issues. We also request very respectfully the PS also to be summoned to shed light on the issues before the select committee.
Back then, there used to be controversial methods of inquiry in which evidence was withheld until the last minute. People used to be tried before an institution called Star Chamber using very unorthodox means. In short, trials 800 years ago used to happen, for lack of a better word, if I may say, where the accuser would keep surprising you, like a conjurer pulling out rabbits from his trench coat. And because this matter was so critical, Honorable Chair, it was the subject of revolutions in England, no less than 3 revolutions. In one of them, the monarch actually lost his head, and all we are trying to do is to tell you, it is not possible. It does not even arise for consideration. Lastly, Chair, you have your standing orders. Standing Order 64 says that by the time the motion comes to the Speaker for approval, it should already be accompanied by the witness statements, by sworn statements, and all other items of evidence. Those are not my words. The thinking must be that by the time you make an allegation as serious as the ones before you, you had better have done your homework, you had better have done all your preparation, and you had better put forward all the material upfront so that the accused person will have then the opportunity to respond.
Why is he worried about the witnesses? This is a matter of national interest, as my lawyer has said. If indeed you are innocent, Kenyans want to know. Could be someone is trying to bring witch hunt to the minister. Let us be allowed to bring each and everybody who will set him free. The jury is in the public. Bwana Minister, relax. Let Kenyans.
Honorable Wamboka, we are just beginning the process, and please do not rush to the conclusion. It is notable that Standing Order 64 primarily concerns procedural matters and does not prescribe the specific evidence to be presented before the committee. Number 2, what is important is that these investigations by this committee should and will not go outside the allegations in the special motion. Number 3, consequently, the committee shall allow any party to invite witnesses or produce new evidence, provided that the evidence strictly relates to the allegations contained in the motion. Number 4, the committee will not entertain any witness or evidence that is not relevant to or that purports to introduce new allegations outside the allegations as passed by the National Assembly. Number 5, we shall give a detailed and reasoned ruling in our report on this matter. Can the committee summon the Principal Secretary for the State Department for Agriculture and the Managing Director for KELS Chemical Limited as requested by the sponsor of the motion? The response: Article 125 of the Constitution, Section 18 of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act, Standing Order 191, and our own rules of procedures gives power to this committee to summon any person to appear before it. Having said this, Honorable Wanami Wamboka should first provide the evidence for laying basis for the request so as to demonstrate the need for the exercise by the committee to summon the Principal Secretary for the State Department for Agriculture and the Managing Director for Kells Chemical Limited. The parties are accordingly guided.
It will be it will be not business as usual. Because that voting, it was a vote of no confidence to the minister. It has consequences. I would be keen to imagine how ambassadors will be dealing with it. Our good friends on high moral ground, the United States, the EU, of which we shall be appealing to them that indeed the National Assembly has passed a vote of no confidence. In that alone, it speaks volumes. It speaks volumes. And I think the minister has guts even to be here today. This motion is not about me. This motion is not about the National Assembly. I had some good friends in Meru saying we are targeted. No, we have very many good Merus, including my good friend, who is at times my lawyer. He's a good Meru. He's a good Meru. It's not about Merus. Merus are good people, and I want it to be understood in this committee. It is not about Kenya Kwanza. Honorable Chair, it's not about Azimio. It is Honorable Franklin Mithika Linturi versus the Republic of Kenyan farmers and diaspora. I did indicate I come from a border town. Ugandans buy things from Kenya. Kenyans buy things from Uganda. My good sister would know this. Nahayo, the Iron Lady, would understand this.
I mean page 15 to 17 of the motion before you. It is a list given there of court cases between the Honorable Linturi and the Honorable Member for Aldai constituency, which in the mover's own words, these are not my words, they are personal, civil, family, and commercial disputes. So it is not as Honorable Chair that I brought a matter of love, affection, and passion of a death before you. It is ground 2 of the allegation on the record. All those 12, 15 or so cases cited there are personal disputes between the Honorable Linturi and the Honorable Member for Aldai constituency. And when we get there, the $1 million question is, if this is not a trivial matter of love gone sour, how did the mover of the motion use material of personal family disputes as the core basis upon which an entire allegation number 2 of his motion is based? But more importantly, when we get there, Honorable Chair, we have produced before you 9 decisions of various courts, ranging from the Court of Appeal, going to the High Court, going to the magistracy, about all those so-called personal, family, and commercial disputes that form the anchorage for ground 2.
May I borrow some words from you? You mentioned something that may I say, touched me, that let us not trivialize national issues by bringing in love. I was reading a response that has been filed before the honorable members of the Select Committee, and the main defense appears to be that what is before Parliament of Kenya, National Parliament of Kenya, dealing with the grave national issues, is because of my ex-wife. My ex-wife is the one who is bringing me trouble. Unbelievable. Unbelievable that you should trivialize a matter of national, international issue and say it's my ex-wife who's doing this. Let us not invoke mundane, primitive concepts of love, of tribalism, of religion. Those no longer make sense in Kenyan context at all. We are all nationals of Kenya. We are all concerned about Kenya. We want Kenya to move on and become like Singapore, become like Korea, the way those people came and lived in this country, studying the way that we are doing things, and they were very much impressed. They have developed more than ourselves. And you have gone backwards because of corruption, portfolio corruption in the country. It is only parliament that can save us.
That these are grievous matters of national importance. To be reduced to love matters. Ukiachwa, achika. Achika. It is indeed unfair to keep dragging the good lady, my sister, Marianne, into these matters. She has a right kukukata, kukukubali. Allow her to proceed on with her life. And I'm sure the Kenyan ladies are taking offense of this, including the Honorable Chair, that it should be unfair that your private matters should keep coming up anytime serious matters are raised. The good lady should be left in peace because she has a life, she has a family, she has children, and she needs to move on. We shall speak. This is a select committee. We shall say that which we want to say and that which we think is important to this committee. I did indicate yesterday that very many people approached me to drop this motion. I refused. And in fact, I told one of them, I'm different from the Honorable Linturi. It should be understood, Honorable Chair, that the Honorable Linturi started a process such as this. This was going to be the second one in the new constitutional order. Had he been serious, he went ahead, he collected signatures, it was put on the order paper, his motion. What did he do? He went to Naivasha, was given money and love.
Chair.
That indeed it is a demonstration.
Chair, I have a point of order.
Point of order by
Yes.
Honorable George.
We've made it very clear that any statements made by a witness, the sponsor, or the respondent must be substantiated. Allegations have been made about going to Naivasha, money being exchanged, and unfortunately we do not have any substantiation on that. Let's not use this opportunity to malign one another. I think we should observe decorum, decency, and we must be relevant.
Honorable Chair, it is in his submissions.
I don't want this committee to be turned, this investigation to be turned into love affairs investigation. Please limit yourself to your motion.
I represent a man who, unfortunately, for lack of a better word, Honorable Chair, is the dog that has been given a bad name. But we must tell the move of this motion, we don't dismiss people from state office because they have a bad reputation, especially when that reputation is an artificial creation of a previous administration that was only doing this to punish the Honorable Linturi for supporting the candidature of the Honorable William Ruto as President of the Republic of Kenya, as opposed to
the other candidature that the administration then in place preferred. What I'm trying to tell you, Honorable Chair.
Presiding Chair.
Honorable.
Right, I'll allow.
Senior Counsel, just a minute. Honorable Kajwang.
No, on account of his age, he can go first.
Senior Counsel.
May I say, I'm most grateful to my talented friend that he acknowledges age as being a virtue. Now, may I say this to my able, talented friend. We must move from this culture, which was started in Kanu days, of keeping on mentioning the head of state in proceedings in order to get sympathy, appreciation, and respect. His Excellency William Ruto is not a party to these proceedings. We don't have to mention his name at all, so that to impress anybody. Let us move from this culture of moving of mentioning head of state. You don't get such a thing in England, where people are mentioning the Queen in the proceedings or the Prime Minister in the proceedings and so on. Nobody has done anything against Linturi because he was not friendly to the previous regime headed by His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, or because he is close to His Excellency William Ruto. Let us keep out mentioning names of heads of state.
The Senior Counsel, Honorable Kajwang.
Well, I think we need to be relevant. Even in open submissions, you must be relevant to the facts in issue. Those facts are fake fertilizer and the ones you call love and affliction or whatever they are.
We are the committee taking the evidence. It's best presented to us the way we'll understand it better. If there is to be reference to documents, can we kindly be referred and we see those documents? Otherwise, later on we shall be told those documents don't exist. And that is not the way evidence is led. Evidence is as you refer to a document, you say, look at this page. We go straight to it, then we move on like that. That is how orderly evidence is actually tendered.
Madam Chair, we have said, my lawyers are getting the exact documents, which we are going to table here, but that does not stop us from proceeding. How we organize our presentation, honestly.
Chair, I must also confirm that when the advocate started leading the Honorable Wamboka, we picked the document, and the document has at least something which can easily guide us. But when you try to follow pages, the pages do not tally. So then it becomes very difficult, because whatever the Honorable Wamboka is saying is very important for this committee. So we are not able to follow completely, Chair.
Madam Chair, the document I gave is paginated.
Honorable Wamboka, I also have that document in front of me. Please guide the members so that we can systematically follow what you are presenting, so that we can understand and also digest as you do your...
For instance, my counsel was referring to, what I was reading was page 13, number 5, paragraph 5. Can I show you?
I have it here.
A minister must be trusted. A minister has a duty to give the right information to Kenyans. As we will be demonstrating, this minister, my good friend, the Honorable Muthomi, on this case of fertilizer, he gave the Kenyan public information over the same subject, 4 versions. Initially, there is no fertilizer, there is no fake fertilizer. Initially, there's only 3,000 bad fertilizer in the market. But the minister went ahead to even tell Kenyans about soil moisturizer. Honestly, we shouldn't have reached here. We should not even be discussing this matter.
Let us go by perception. Let us look at the matter in this very broad manner and find out whether we can get a solution for the country. As politicians sometimes say, let us find out what Mama Mboga would say about this. And indeed, if you go and carry out a census to find out what Mama Mboga would say, Mama Mboga would say, Honorable Linturi should have resigned long time ago as a matter of principle. He should not continue to be a minister in charge of agriculture at all. I urge you very respectfully, let us move on with those few remarks. Let us move on as quickly as possible and go back to do some work. If I may borrow the words that my client has used. Mr. Linturi, you would have done us great honor by resigning. You would have set a big precedent, and you would have gone down in history as a big man.
As human beings, there is a tendency sometimes to say, it is that bad guy again. The Honorable Linturi, of course, as you'll find in his response about this issue, is that this campaign was sponsored by the previous administration, which again latched onto the personal, commercial, family disputes. So that at every TV broadcast for those 5 years, at every possible newspaper headline, at every possible FM radio show, it was always Linturi the bad guy. And specifically, I represent a man who has been painted to the world as an incorrigible womanizer, criminal, fraudster, thug, scoundrel. You can call it whatever. I represent a man who, unfortunately, for lack of a better word, Honorable Chair, is the dog that has been given a bad name. But we must tell the move of this motion, we don't dismiss people from state office because they have a bad reputation, especially when that reputation is an artificial creation of a previous administration that was only doing this to punish the Honorable Linturi for supporting the candidature of the Honorable William Ruto as President of the Republic of Kenya, as opposed to the other candidature that the administration then in place preferred.
When Learned Counsel Khaminwa tries to trivialize this matter, it pains me because it doesn't know how painful it is. Because, Chairman, there is no in the history of the judicial system, nowhere, and worse matter has ever been done or conducted live on TV. It was mine. And that was the reason when Dr. Muthomi Ankolo tries to contextualize this story, then it's not taken seriously. Just like as mentioned, there is a judgment there by Ungundi, which clearly in a paragraph says that is what happened. When counsel for the mover accepts in before this committee that was called, I was having a discussion with the so-called, with the person that we are referring to as a proxy. One wonders what is it that was being discussed. So, members of this committee, I would want to say one time that as we look into this matter, let us really look at the matter on the basis of evidence and the fact. I am ready to defend myself, and I really know the pain that the number of farmers that and already interacted with the few bags of fertilizer, I really feel for them. And I've taken corrective measures from the ministry. Those people that we believe were culpable, I've already taken plea. And Chairman, I want to leave it at that, but you know, it's very painful for me because when I took over the ministry, the country was in a crisis, didn't have food, we were trying to import food. We've produced 67 million bags within the first year. And when we are telling people go back to the farms, I thank farmers that came to listen to us. I was shown Jahon, and because this is what I would call occupational hazard, because it comes with the job I'm doing. But remember, members, I sat on that side for 15 years. You may also cross to this side. So as you decide on this matter, please note do justice.